Hello, everyone, and welcome to another fine episode of Untier Talk, the podcast that just keeps on giving no matter how much you ask it to stop. My name's Megazard. Well, it's not really Megazard, but I go by Megazard. That's what you can call me, just like you can call my co-host HJAD, and you can call the lad that we are joined by Tone. Tone, what's it like having better mic quality than both the hosts?
I don't know. Is that really anything worth reporting about? But hey, if it works for me, give you a +1.
I don't know. I like keeping up with the mic quality, and to be fair, like I'm recording your mic through my computer, so it'll probably end up sounding like just as bad as mine at this point.
I mean, we are redefining qualitat on a regular basis.
That is true. We are redefining all of the qualitat. Hey, Jad, are you alive?
I am alive.
Fuck.
I'm alive and crying over Shinotic, but that's all that needs to be said at the moment.
All right. We'll get to that, but so we're going to talk about the exhibition games. There is some Shinotic, but we tend to go in chronological order, which means that the first game is TJ versus Robert Alphonse, the saga of Sandrush Stoutland on a non-sand team and Forewarned Jinx. Y'all remember this game early in the week?
Oh shit! Oh yeah, because he tried to download the team and it didn't download properly or something.
Yeah, I had this. I used to have this problem all the time. My teams wouldn't transfer over from Smog Tours or two Smog Tours, and then whenever I tried to transfer them, the abilities would mess up. Huge issue for me. So I really feel for TJ. But basically, what happened is that they both brought cool looking teams, and a lot of what we do is more team analysis than game analysis, to be honest. But like this could have been a much closer game, possibly, but TJ's Stoutland was accidentally not scrappy and could not hit Robert Alphonse's Golurk, and that just kind of really sucked for him. Like that was a big momentum shift because Robert Alphonse didn't lose his Golurk. He got to set up Stealth Rock and keep it around. 4-1 Jinx didn't actually matter at all, but like the Golurk thing was pretty huge.
Yeah. Overall, I do like how Robert Alphonse's team looks like. I will say it gets absolutely dunked on by the fat fighting type, the girder. That's what it is. It gets destroyed by that thing, which is probably a reason why I probably wouldn't end up using it. But I mean, it's Robert Alphonse at the end of the day, so he's probably thinking like, it's weak to girder. Who cares?
Yeah, I have a feeling like it's got to be like. I don't know. Pain split Quillfish?
If it was Z Dream Eater, like Alolan Persia, maybe.
Like maybe a big lure or something. No, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Didn't he show what happened to the Alolan Persian? Let me go back through the replay.
It died kind of like early on, like around turn 23, I think, like something like that.
Let me see. It parting shot it out. It just like he pivoted with it with parting shot really early in the game.
I think it was just bulky.
Yeah, and it died super early. And like if it was Nasty Plot, he'd be saving that because TJ's team was really weak to Nasty Plot, Alolan Persian. Like everything was slower.
His Dark Resist is Roselia.
His Dark Resist is Roselia. Everything is slower except Scarf Kabutops, which is obviously not a great revenge killer for a Fur Coat Mon. And like Roselia and Quagsire and Stoutland are like not good checks to it. So if that was Nasty Plot, he would not have sacked it like real early. So, and did Kabutops just?
It's kind of awkward in the matchup, to be honest. Like from a standpoint, like the water resist on Robert Alphonse's team was a Bullfish, and they got rid of that kind of early, but it did get up spikes, it did pressure, and then like. Weaken like Stoutland and whatnot, but overall, like the Kabutops in general just kind of felt meh in a sense. Like it didn't really like do as much as you would think.
Oh, I'm sorry. It wasn't Scarf Kabutops. It switched up moves, so maybe it was Scarf Jinx possibly.
So it's probably Scarf Jinx.
Nope, it's not Scarf Jinx. That switched moves too. Okay, so TJ has a weirdly slow team, but the fastest Mon is Jinx. And Robert Alphonse has like a weirdly girder weak team that also doesn't have a water resist. Like Ludicolo, for example, would just absolutely flatten it. Like I like these offensive teams. but
Yeah, no,
they're
that was
both
fine.
really weird in execution. And I know they're big boys; they can take it. So, guys, what are these teams? What?
I would say his team is fine versus water types because he has the Electros. I mean, the Electros is pretty free on most bulky waters. So like your Gastrodons and your
His team
Quagsires,
actually just loses to a well-played Jellicent.
a well played Jellicent.
Like-
No, I wouldn't say so because like
I mean, be
you can
reserved for
go
Roselia.
hide eel on it.
No, not TJ. It's Robert Alphonse.
Oh, yeah, I guess.
He's like
I
really
mean,
Jellicent
West
weak.
is faster than the Jellicent, so
Not even specs, just like
Bond on
fat-
Goldfish.
Fat Jellicent, I think, is the thing that just
Fat
absolutely.
He doesn't struggle versus Fat Jellicent though because he just goes into eel and volt switches or gigas or whatever.
You can just recover on that, and then you're going to slowly chip the eel, and then once the eel is gone, I don't know. I don't like the Jellicent matchup. I don't like the Girder matchup. What else don't I like? While I'm just being mean, what else can I be mean about?
I mean, wait, in both teams' case or just Robert Alphonse's team?
I mean, both teams' case, but Robert Alphonse, I don't really like his what's the mon? I don't love his pom pom matchup either. Like HB fighting pom pom actually is scary. Like you have to go eel and then volt switch into Stone Edge Primeape, and that unless he's acid spray eel or something.
He would have to pivot between Electros and Sandslash on the pom pom.
Well, I'm thinking like assuming it's HB fighting.
Yeah, I mean, like, let's go Sandslash on the Hurricane
Okay.
and double the Electros on the on.
You know what Robert Alphonse's team needs? I think if he swapped the Alolan Sandslash to a Scarf Alolan Sandslash, then changed the Primeape to a Swoobat, the team would be perfect.
What's Swoobat gonna do?
It makes every Robert Alphonse team better.
It's gonna beat Girder, obviously. By the way,
Exactly.
Merritt just ruled Sam I Am versus Tony a dead game, so that's one less game we can talk about. They were both
Okay,
on. They both scheduled for quote unquote Sunday afternoon, and then they were both on for like some of the time, but not all the time, without any specific time set. So it's just dead game.
Yeah, I believe Tony overslept and Sam is still in his car, so.
Yeah, they're boys who have a lot of IRL stuff to do, so not that surprising.
Yeah.
Do we have any more to say about this game? I think like the ability thing really changed the dynamic early on, and I don't like either of their teams.
Yeah, now that you point out TJ's team did not have Scarf Kabutops, I am completely against it. I hate that team in every single way.
Yeah,
Scarf
wait.
Kabutops, it's okay.
Actually, I said it switched moves, but I think he actually might have knocked. I think Robert Alphonse might have knocked. Yeah, he knocked off the choice scarf. I'm sorry, it was a Scarf Kabutops, but Robert Alphonse knocked it off. That makes so much more
Okay,
sense.
that's fine.
Okay. That makes 10 times more
That's
sense.
fine.
Like, it's still a weirdly slow team. Don't get me wrong. But, like, he has good Lilligant counters and good Lycanroc counters, which are, like, the two big, fast mons that kind of handle Scarfers. So, like, it could be a lot worse.
Yeah.
If anything else,
It's
I think
fine.
TJ's pretty weird versus Pom Pom. This team, by the way, I pointed out, it's ridiculously similar to a team I used a lot, including versus TJ for the PU circuit playoffs. And I find that team is also quite weak to Pom Pom because it requires you pivoting into Kabutops perfectly. And if Kabutops gets chipped by Revelation Dance or HB Fighting, real weak to Pom Pom. My version does have Rotom Frost over the Jinx, though, so that makes it a little better. But it's still a bit of a weakness.
I believe Robert Alphonse's team was also similar to somebody else's. I believe it was 2 times his team. I believe he said something about that.
Yeah.
It was 2 times. Yeah, 2 times had the same team. He just had, I think he had like a Swanna over, I think it was Coalfish. I'm not entirely sure, but it was like 5 of the 6 mons are the same. He just had one different mon. That's it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes sense because then he has the Girder check sorted out. So yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's all we need to say about that game.
Yeah, so moving on. Next in chronological order is Ham versus Rexus, aka the extraordinary Bouffalant that could. This was a fun game.
Even the people on that could break everything on Rexus' team.
Yeah, so Rexus brought a team that happened to be Bouffalant weak. I know that's not really something that you think about in team building, so I don't really blame him that much. That being said, I don't know how much he prepped this team. Like, he was using it in room tours and stuff, so it wasn't exactly a hidden team. So perhaps Ham, like, specifically counter-teamed, or maybe he didn't, I don't know. But, like, Rexus brought a Lilligant, and Ham brought a Bouffalant, and that, like, really sucks, because a Lilligant's already doing nothing. And the Bouffalant got to sub up on Toxic type Null, and it broke type Null, because at +2 was doing 56. It got to pivot into Lilligant and then deal damage to Swanna, and then like 5 turns later it gets to deal more damage to Swanna. And like there was a time when Rex's was pretty scary because he got his type null up to +4 attack, but then it was forced to rest and Ham got to SD with his Lycanroc, and then after that like Boof won the game immediately after. Like, it got to sub up and then kill Aggron, and then it got to beat Type Null, and then it got to... Yeah, Boof basically just won the game. Like, it had a crazy good matchup, and Rex's only hope was if Type Null could sweep, and Ham was ready for that. Like, Boof actually just fucked him up. And Ham played it really well, to be fair.
I'd say... along with Ham playing it well, I mean, it's kind of like a weird matchup, because he still has to play around the Aggron. And if you look at Ham's Aggron check, he has the Mudsdale, so it's it really just comes down to how alive he can keep his Bouffalant for as long as the game is possible. Considering he doesn't have Healing Wish either, so whatever Bouffalant's health is at, that's where it's at for the rest of the game essentially, unless you get some lefty shenanigans going.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the fact that he managed to play it in such a way where every time he got it in, it was a free turn. So it could sub, it could do swords dancing, it could do literally anything it wanted on that free turn. So he did really well to keep it in like that. And I guess it helped that Rexus's Volt Switch resist was Swanna. So, yeah.
Yeah, like being able to pivot in that with Lantern was also really big.
Yeah, I will say something, a general thing about Ham's team is that I saw the Sensu U-turned, and you don't tend to see that on Sensu at all.
Jeez, your mic is just crackling.
My hunch is that Sensu may have been Scarf. I can't confirm that. I hope it isn't.
I just assumed. Like, I figured it would have to be Scarf Sensu because it's not very fast. Like, the team's not very fast otherwise. Skuntank is the only other possible Scarfer, and he's running U-turn Sensu. And if it's not that, then it's like bulky U-turn Sensu with Defog, like U-turn Defog Roost Hurricane or something, and then like Scarf Skunk.
That makes sense.
And that would also be really weird. And that would also be generally Girder weak. And I don't know, weird Girder matchups this time. But fuck it, Boof won, so he's fine.
Yeah, sure.
No, the Skuntank was Defog.
Wait, did he reveal that? I totally missed that then. So yeah, it's probably Scarf Sensu, which isn't very common, and like the big thing is, your speed control, if it can get Pursuit trapped, that's a problem, which is why on a team with like Scarf Sensu, Scarf Mesprit, you really got to be prepared to handle like Pursuit plus Lilligant or whatever. And I don't know that Ham was, but he didn't run into that, so it was fine.
Yeah, that's all that needs to be said, really. I think Ham's team is cool, but there's too many things that I can nitpick with, and it just makes me feel a bit on edge when I see it. But it's quite fun. I will say that the sub SD Bouffalant with the SD Lycanroc, I assume we never got to see it set, but I assume it's SD Lycanroc.
It had to be.
Yeah.
I mean, it just
helped
helped.
Scarf Lycanroc.
No, it was SD Lycanroc. He SD.
Yeah, he was SD.
Oh, he did. Oh,
yeah.
He
okay.
no.
Yeah, he SD'd versus the null.
Oh yeah. No,
it helped from a matchup standpoint, considering that Bouffalant like set up on like half his team.
Yeah, Boof.
It was Spectre Scarf, but yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, Boof had a crazy good matchup, but even in general, like, we actually did rank Boof. We'll get to this, but we ranked Boof in the VR update that isn't up at the time of recording, but I do have the results. So spoilers for you, Tone, and HJAD, because you guys don't get to see the results, but Bouffalant's getting ranked. Because, like, this matchup is, like, way too good for Boof. I don't think it's really representative. But it is actually, a relevant... okay breaker that doesn't need a lot of support, but the thing that kind of differentiates it is even though you have to support Boof a lot, it's also a great Lilligant check, and being able to provide that actual defensive utility back for not just Lilligant, even if you want to pivot into like Tangle or whatever, that kind of sets Boof apart. Like there are a lot of mons that can do amazing that are like unranked or whatever, they can do amazing and great matchups, but like Boof kind of clearly gives more in a meta where Lilligant's just so scary.
Yeah, I will say that given the ability to check Lilligant, is a huge aspect. It means that generally across matchups, Buffalon is going to have less of a... If it has a hard matchup offensively, you can still sort of keep it around so that it can check the Lilligants and it can check the Tangeras and it can check all the grass types and what have you. Whatever you need it to check in that regard. In that way, it's much more useful than a mon that's, unranked. Say, for example, like a Simi Sage. That thing's... It's not providing any defensive utility. You can't use it to like switch it to anything. So in a bad matchup, Simi Stage is useless. Whereas this, it can still do something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we about covered it. We spent a lot of time talking about Buffalon. It's pretty much all we got.
Yeah.
Tone, anything? No?
No, Nick, just the matchup itself pretty much speaks for itself. Buffalon put in a lot of work.
Yeah. Oh my god, HJAD, what are you doing over there?
Oh my god, I was just adjusting my microphone, sorry.
No, you're good. It's okay. People deal with it. They know what they're getting into when they listen to this. Speaking of unranked mons that can just like have really good matchups, Jiri versus Lord ST. LST on our team, we had him bring stall because Ziri has been bringing just a lot of like really stall weak teams, and the other person on Ziri's team is Katut, and I counter teamed Katut with stall and circuit, so we were like, stall is going to be a good pick. And while LST certainly could have played better, I don't think the matchup was quite as good as how the game ended up going down. Ziri brought a spec Shinotic, which was absolutely just like stupid good in this matchup. Because stall doesn't really have space for a fairy resist. So spec Shinotic, the next like random mon to just really do a whole lot of work in an exhibition game.
Yep.
That being said, like we did kind of point out, pretty much it is kind of the case where pretty much any specs mon could have been about as scary. If it was like Specs Ludicolo, I said for the other grass type example, like that also would have been pretty much as good here. But obviously Ludicolo is not a fighting resist for Ziri's team, so that could have been an issue. But overall, like Ziri actually brought a really interesting team. There's not really the super apparent weaknesses that I think we've tossed out for other teams. Stoutland's definitely a bit of a question mark. Stoutland and Kangaskhan, because the normal resist being Alolan Sandslash is a little questionable. But it has a lot of power. Like Electros is like a really strong Volter. Shinotic's actually got a good amount of power. The rocker being Golurk means that you're just strong. I don't know if we ever saw the Alolan Sandslash set. But yeah, just a lot of power, a lot of strong threats. And LST definitely like misplayed with stall because he let rocks go up. It was Rocks, Alolan Sandslash, and offensive Golurk, which is even like more threatening. Yeah. And LST misplayed really hard early. He thought the Golurk was going to be Rocks, so he let Alolan Sandslash... He switched Articuno out of Alolan Sandslash, thinking he was going to be offensive, and Sandslash got to set up Rocks, and LST could never get them off. Whereas normally Articuno can 1v1, support Alolan Sandslash, and keep hazards off. And keeping hazards off, super important for your stall that has Articuno plus Altaria. And that really just like kind of put the nail in the coffin. By turn 5, it was just real bad.
Yeah, I'd say if he managed to hold his nerve, because I mean how Ziri played it is that the Alolan Sandslash came in. So how Lord ST was sort of thinking about it was the rockers. The only two potential rockers are Golurk and Alolan Sandslash. So it could be like, I think in his head he was thinking, okay, it can be like rocks, Golurk, and then an offensive Sandslash with Spin. I think that's maybe how he was thinking about it, because then it makes sort of sense as like a weird offense style of team that doesn't really give in too many switch-ins. So as soon as he saw the Alolan Sandslash came in, logic, like if you were to just say to anybody like Articuno, you need to use Articuno to beat Alolan Sandslash, people would have stayed in and just sort of waited to see what was happening. but I assume he got a bit freaked out and decided, nah, I have to play for the I have to play a bit more passively with that.
Yeah.
And also I think we have to talk about the Shinotic for a little bit.
Do we?
Personally speaking, yeah, because personally speaking,
Well, hang on. Let's let Tone talk about it because I think Tone was a lot more positive on Shinotic. So.
I mean, it wasn't the fact that I was being more positive. It was more the fact that in this particular matchup, I want to say because it was such a stally build that LST brought in the matchup, it was like exploited a little bit more because of the fact that he really had to rely a lot more on auto and the switch in because of the fact that it was specs, and that was essentially his fairy resist at that point, especially because he let Rocks go up with the Sand Slash, and he didn't even try to remove them at all, or it made it harder for him to get rid of Rocks with either Articuno or with the Altaria. And plus, his team got pressured a lot by not just Shinotic, but also the fact that his flying resist being the carbing that got weakened a lot earlier on because of Shinotic putting in all that added power with Specs Moonblast. And
yeah.
Pom became a lot more of a threat once Carping got weakened.
Yeah, Pom and Shinotic are both top threats to the team that you need Articuno to be the main Pokemon to check. And if Rocks are going up turn 5 and you're never removing them, that's just kind of game. Like I said, I think any Spexmon, realistically, would have been as good in the matchup as Shinotic was. It's still definitely not a terrible Mon, especially since we no longer have Specs Eggy for the massive competition. But yeah, just some unranked power put in the work, much to my chagrin, since LST's on my team.
I think it's more the fact that in this specific meta, no one really preps for fairy mons or deals with what's a fairy. When your fairy resist is basically the Alolan Sand Slash, you're not really going to think about fairy types in general. And then this matchup sort of exploited that a bit. Not no disrespect to LST, but it's more of the sense that who really preps for a wall breaking fairy type, especially something like Shinotic. Calm Mind Clefairy, maybe.
Oh yeah, nobody does, and it's not disrespect to him. This team was made by HJAD made it, and then I edited it. LST was just using our team. So sorry, sorry LST, we got you bopped. Yeah. All right. Oh, geez. It's already been so long. All right, quick. But we should...
Can I just add a quick thing?
Yeah.
On Shinotic, because I will say that the redeeming factor, the reason why I don't completely hate Shinotic as a choice on a team, for example...
Because you think Gerder's broken.
Yeah. No, not Gerder's broken. That's pushing it, yeah. But, if you think about it, though, it offers you a lot of defensive utility and a strong breaker that can just switch in on multiple threats.
Yeah, no, that's obviously... Yeah, no, I agree. That's why you want it. It's like I said, Specs Eggy was the competition because Specs Eggy also had ridiculous defensive utility. But no, I completely agree. Shinotic has the defensive utility. That's why I don't hate on this. I think his team's fire weak, so in that sense, maybe Shinotic not the best Spexmon, but it's also it would also be kind of fighting weak if the Shinotic wasn't there, and it would definitely be dark weak. Although Shinotic's not really a Skuntank check, so I don't know, but it helps with
Skuntank's not switching in; it's doing
no, it's not switching in, but it doesn't switch anything. But it helps with a low and Eradicate too, things like that. So I don't hate it. But moving on. We have Shane Ghoul versus Pills, one of the closest games we've had in exhibition so far.
One of the closest, bro. This is fucking mindfuck. This game was an absolute mind. I left halfway through this game because I had to go, and I saw that Shane was getting, I saw the Scarf Mesprit, and I saw the no Scarf Mesprit resist, and I thought Shane had lost. This game should never have been.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I still don't understand how we won this game.
Yeah, no, I like Shane Ghoul's team. It's cool looking offense. It's fast. It has a Zangoose, which is really dope mon. It's cool, but Shane Ghoul didn't bring a Psychic Resist. Last time we saw no Psychic Resist versus Scarf Mesprit, Manny just got absolutely fucked up. But somehow Shane Ghoul managed to pull it out like the madman he is by just trading threat. He just managed to do a bunch of trades and end up with Zangoose being able to just barely live a hit from Scarf Mesprit with 1% left. Literally he won the game with a Toxic Mon with 1% left OHKOing the opponent's last mon. Like that was how he won, because he just traded a bunch and Pills just didn't get enough kills with Mesprit. It really came down to Shane's team being so offensive that even though Pills was getting killed with Mesprit every time, Shane would just get a kill right back. Actually, I never capped to see how close the roll is. So Zangoose versus Mesprit, Choice Scarf. Psychic does 73 to 86, and it did 82. So it was decently in Shane's. It was in Shane's favor, but still very, very close. Like, this game was just there's not even a lot to say about it. I don't know how. Like, there weren't a ton of plays made or anything. In fact, the Pills probably could have made more plays.
Yeah, that's the big thing.
Because there needed to be more. There needed to be more aggressive play. He made like one double, but it just wasn't enough. Shane just kept trading in the optimal way, and then Pills also could have doubled his Alone Sandslash out right into Kangaskhan, and instead he let his Alone Sandslash get HP fired by Lilligant. I guess he didn't want to risk, like, if he didn't want to risk Sleep Powder, I do understand that play. But that was pretty huge, because after that...
I'll say I'll say where Pills lost the game was where he had the Lycanroc in versus the Sensu, and then he sort of played weird around the Primate. So he Stone Edges the Primate, which is weird in the fact that was it a Z move on the Lycanroc? I don't know if
he already just popped the Splintered Storm Shards like really early.
Oh yeah.
Turn 3 or something. Turn 4, he popped the Splintered Storm Shards basically just to get a fully accurate move versus the Zangoose so he wouldn't miss Stone Edge. Either that, or because he thought Primeape or Quillfish was switching in, he wanted to just do more damage. But definitely a weird turn to use it and lose it, because Shane was just sacking a 32% Lycanroc, so didn't really work out for him.
But then the series of turns afterwards was the more concerning part, because if you look at Shane's team, at the point where Primate is in, he's not really doing much with the Mesprit. All he needs the Mesprit to be is just outside the Zangoose quick attack range. And you don't get put into Zangoose quick attack range by a U-turn. So in my opinion, he could have gone hard into Mesprit, and at the end of the day, he would have ate the close combat, got another kill, and then he would have had the numbers in a trade war. So he would have won that game.
Mm-hmm. There were a few times where he just could have had the numbers, but he didn't. Yeah, I mean.
Yeah, that's the big thing, and Shane made good advantage off of the fact that he was in a losing position and made the right play to win a trade war. That's all that really happened. It was a weird game. I was very shook to see that Shane won that game. The surprise should have been recorded. It would have a lot of hits on YouTube.
How much was that roll on the Psychic?
Yeah, I said it did 83, and it does 86 max, so it's definitely in Shane Gould's favor. The teams were like Shane Gould definitely just had a super offensive team that had troubles with like Scarf Mesprit, Rain Dance Ludicolo, those kinds of like real fast mons that Shane just wasn't really gonna check. And then Pills, he had a solid enough team, I think.
Look, I actually liked how Pills' team looked, to be honest. Apart from the fact that it didn't really have a spin blocker, so that Alone and Sandslash was going to be a bit annoying for him to face, and you couldn't really pressure with hazards.
Why a spin? It's not a spin blocker I'm worried about, because he only has rocks. Like, I don't think a spin blocker is not. I think the thing is hail definitely would have been real scary. Because his ice resist is a fat Alolan Sandslash, but if you play the hail well, you catch that with an earthquake or something, you're in mighty shaky territory. Given that most of his mons just outright lose to Alolan Sandslash really hard. In fact, not even hail, just offensive Alolan Sandslash, just Scarf Alolan Sandslash, really gives him a run for his money.
It was kind of I think considered, but Shane brought a very offensive team, and it was kind of difficult for Pills to like keep up because, like you said, the trades that Shangle made just to try to make his position a lot better in the matchup, and then that late game Zangoose coming in clutch and living that hit. Like, I mean, he could have had a psychic resist. Yeah, maybe he could have had like a Alolan Persian somewhere on the team, like to better like prevent Mesprit from freely clicking psychic, and it makes it easier for Zangoose to come in or Lycanroc to set up, like that sort of scenario. But it was still a very close game, all things considered. So
for sure.
Yep.
I think we pretty much covered this. We want to move on to Lycans versus Ima. This was an interesting game. I actually really liked. I really liked Lycans' team, and it definitely had quite a scary matchup, and ended up just performing like exactly how you'd kind of want it. Basically, Lycans had like spikes plus Caracosta, which was just kind of killer for Ima. So the game got down to like a pretty close ending where it was like 3 mons to 1. But Lycans just like straight up won with Caracosta and would have straight up won with Caracosta much earlier, as long as he didn't miss Stone Edge versus the Lilligant, because Ima was really Caracosta weak. You know, he had the Primeape to check Omastar, but Caracosta with that priority jet really just gave Ima's team the business. And I think Teddy or Dibs, or maybe it was Lycans, but I'm assuming Teddy or Dibs, whoever built that, I think they had built a really cool Caracosta team. Definitely Mon, I think, is super underrated, and that's kind of the summary of the game. Just Costa put in work.
Yes, it did.
Yeah, I do like the idea of having Debon Frostlass with the dual big threat core, like the Caracosta plus Lilligant core with Debon Frostlass.
Mm-hmm.
Is that to me is proper scary. It's the stuff of nightmares. Yeah, it's a cool team. I do like how offensive it is, given how the meta has now been sort of leaning a bit bulkier. Given that, or it has been leaning a bit bulkier for like a while now, but this makes really good like advantage on the momentum that Primeape and Mesprit gets you. So yeah, I do like this team a lot. And that's to be honest, I don't even not mind Ima's team. I think Ima's team is like one of the better versions of balance that I've seen. Given that he has a Stoutland and a Lilligant, that's quite a decent offensive core, and his backbone isn't that weak to much. Like,
no, I agree.
Tank plus Pom Pom.
Actually, I was theorizing his biggest weakness might even just like Mudsdale actually seems kind of annoying, because you got to keep switching. Like, you have 3 mons that kind of switch in with Silvally Water, Pom Pom, and Lilligant, but none of them like really want to come in all that much. And if you got Mudsdale plus a solid Lilligant check, seems a little scary. But overall, like, I do think Ima's team is pretty solid balance and has like the tools to outplay things like Mudsdale. It's not like a straight up abject weakness, like, oh no, I'm getting fucked by Scarf Mesprit. You can outplay a Mudsdale or anything. Ima had some solid stuff, but ultimately, like, when Lycans is Caracosta, almost auto wins, and it literally sets up on your Scarf Primeape clicking close combat because Solid Rock is an amazing ability. Like, there's only so much you can do there. Holy hell.
I think Caracosta honestly has a really solid spot in this meta, given that it's not easily revenge healed at all by any of the Scarfers in this tier. It's found itself in a spot where its best Scarf check is like, what would you say, Mesprit? And then that Scarf Mesprit, there's tons of 50-50s with that, and the Skunt Tank that he has also on that team. So I think it's really good team building, to be honest, because he knows that he has the matchup on all the Scarfers basically, and on top of the Skunt Tank as well. So yeah, it's just a good mon, and it was supported well by his team.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
It's one of the better Caracosta examples.
This team feels a bit more like a team from like back in PU Beta, like back when like Caracosta was a bit more prominent and not.
You're right. Like it's got the Frostlass instead of like a different spiker, but the Lilligant.
Like if it was like
you got the
like if you had like Pharaoh Seed and replaced if you replaced Lilligant with something like another grass type or something like that, it'd be like a very similar team to PU Beta.
Oh yeah, I mean
And
even
you
Lilligant,
did-
like
you
the
replaced
Lilligant,
Frostlass with,
Lilligant was
Pharaoh.
good.
Frostlass with Pharaoh.
Scarf
Well,
Primeape was the
well,
thing.
some-
He's got the
well,
Mesprit plus Skuntank core. Yeah.
I would say if you go Mesprit and then Ferroseed instead of Frostlass, and then you had like a Spiritomb over Skuntank, it would basically be a beta team. It might as well be beta.
yeah, something like that.
Mm-hmm. But I do like this week is a really good week for people trying to showcase like lesser seen mons that just kind of put in work doing things like even if they're not always like the best or the only mon that could have done it. We're definitely seeing some good creativity, especially for someone who might be doing a series to try to show off every Pokemon PU. Definitely a valuable week.
I'm trying.
Hint and wink, wink. Go check out Tone's channel. It's okay. We'll plug you. We'll plug you later. Just a little drop. Anyway, the next game, the Pokemon that got shown off was Komala, because Komala, I don't. Okay, so this was Kushlos versus Drud, and if you follow competitive PU, you probably saw Kushlos' team. You're like, hey, HJAD built that, because yeah, hell yeah, he did.
Yeah, dude, it's got all my Pokemons on it.
No, but it's literally Sableye plus Quillfish plus a Scarf Sandslash plus Kangaskhan Spike. So the last two mons being filler. Happening to be Cradily Komala, kind of just showcasing some weird teams, but it's basically like the Spikes plus Spin Blocker. And Drud was just really weak to that. And it did not go well at all. Like this was just kind of the worst possible scenario you could see for Spikes just doing the absolute amount of work. Like Quillfish got up 2 spikes into T-Spike. Sandslash could never spin because of Sableye. That was the game. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys see that Drud's team is actually an old Manny team from like October? I think he posted it in some team building.
Yeah, no, Manny posted it to the PU squad dump.
What the Clefairy on it?
Yeah, Manny posted it to PU's squad dump back in some like late 2018. It's called like Anund 2 or something.
Yeah, it's like a very semi-style team with like Stoutland, Clefairy, Quag, Pom Pom, and like
it's like an early Quag meta team. And for whatever reason, Drud either happened to build the same thing or stole this random team. Like, I don't know. I really don't know where it came, like why Drud was using this, but this was like the period where Clefairy was really good before it fell off, and now it's coming back a little bit. This was like the end of where Clefairy was really good, early Quagsire meta, and that meta, like that time was when Clefairy was waning and getting replaced by Spikes, and you literally just saw that in this game because Spikes just did absolute work.
Yeah, dog. I mean, I'll go through my team selection first in the fact that Kamala's a weird mod, but me and Dibs were theorizing all the checks to 3 attacks Lilligant and 3 attacks Quiver Lilligant, I should say, and there wasn't many. So one of the ways that I theorized in checking that is having bulky assault that's Kamala with rapid spin, and then having that be your Lilligant check, so to speak. So that's why you don't see too much in terms of like a Lilligant check on that team. I mean, Alolan Sandslash is there, but it's not meant to be the Lilligant check because it's Scarf. And Kangaskhan can sort of pick off Lilligant once it's down below a certain health range. And the reason why I like this team quite a bit is because when you pair Kangaskhan with the Komala can be used as an offensive tool to like knock off stuff like what are the fat ones? Regirock, Mudsdales, Quagsires in this case.
Yeah, things like that.
All the bulky ground types for the most part.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like it's mostly there for Lilligant. It's not useless. It can at least spin, but it's a thing. Like it didn't do much, but it checked a Pom Pom at one point. So there you go, ZU enthusiasts. Yeah, Supersonic. It was great. Supersonic Sky Strike did 33%. So that was pretty funny.
Do you remember that it was unboosted and it does run no special attack investment?
Yeah, versus AV Komala, but still, it was funny. But yeah, that was like mostly the game. Drud just had an old ass team, and Kush had like a great matchup and played it, pretty impeccably. And oh my god, dudes, my guys, it's already been 40 minutes. And we only have one more game left. That's not terrible. It's just we have more other stuff to talk about this week.
Yeah, I will say as the last point that
Sure.
Judd had the opportunity to win this game if he played his Stoutland better. I feel like.
Yeah,
if he-
like he could have
like,
had
it's all about
something,
taste.
but if Stoutland has to keep getting checked by hazards because Druid couldn't really remove, and Kush just had enough fodder to it between like the helmet quillfish, the scarf slash, the sable eye, the cradilly, just enough things to annoy it. I don't think it was going anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, he had the Mesprit as well, which he later healing wished at the start, if I recall correctly.
Oh yeah, he did have healing
there
wish.
was-
That's something.
Yeah, he did. He did.
Yeah, so if he made a few doubles, maybe like got Mesprit in and then you turned on a few things and clicked the right return versus superpower combination, there was a potential opportunity for him to win the game, but you know he just got shut out by the hazards first and then the speed control next.
Mhm. And then the final game, which didn't really show off any mons at all that are new or whatever,
Kyo-
but did
I just want to say, Kyo is like he must be shivering after watch. If he watched this replay, he would be shivering after this game because we saw the true extent of how broken Protect is.
Oh yeah, Protect was broken this game though. There's that, and also Tasker brought my favorite team style that I've been spamming since Circuit. Victory Bell Hail. I swear it's good because Victory Bell's the wall breaking girder check that the tier needs, but not the wall breaking girder check the tier
It's
deserves.
the wall breaker we need, but not the one we deserve.
It's the wall breaking girder check specifically. Anyway, Tasker brought Victory Bell Hail, and 49 brought like this interesting little fat team that it's like kind of almost semi-stallish, kind of using Abomasnow to be the breaker, and then just a bunch of more fat mons. Like I don't even like. It's a really weird team.
Honestly, dude, this is a team that I would have expected to see last exhibition. Like, not this exhibition, but one before. Because I think I played somebody last when I was using... It was the Simeon meta with the Pharisees and stuff. And I played, I think... Who was it? I think it was Z plus V. And he was using a team that was like... It had the same, like, structure. So, like, Gerda, Mesprit, Lantern, Regirock. It had the exact same 4-mon structure. Plus the 2 weird ones on the side. But, yeah, it was super weird. I mean, this team just looks really old.
I mean, considering it's you, HJAD, can you really consider any mon yet you would use weird?
Well, it's an Abomasnow. Abomasnow is quite weird. That's a fun mon, actually. I've been meaning to use Abomasnow a bit more because of all of the Alolan Sandslash spam, to be honest, because you can just pop those things. Did you use who was the one who used Sub-Punch Abomasnow? Was that LST?
He did use it, but I think Katut was the first one to use it.
Oh, yeah, it was Katut.
But LST used it versus me in DPL, but Katut had used it in like some circuit tour before that.
Oh, yeah, he did. I think it was one of his first circuit tours. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It was weird shit. And then like Tasker ended up stalling out most of 49's team just with Toxic Protect Lantern. Just like literally just Toxic Protecting through the team. Because
Yeah.
Lantern. No, okay, Victory Bell got like 2 kills, but it was mostly because. Okay, so Lantern didn't actually kill like anything on its own really, but Victory Bell got a couple kills, Mesprit got a couple kills basically off Lantern getting to Toxic Protect and then Volt Switch out pretty much for free because 49's Lantern Resist was his own AV Lantern, but that loses to Toxic Protect Lantern. So like,
Lantern Wars.
yeah, Lantern Wars and the Toxic Protect just wins.
Wars.
It literally
Chorus Edu.
wars and yours.
Chorus Edu Lantern Wars. Only the realists know. Yeah, that was a good time. Yeah, that's all that really needs to be said on this one, doesn't it? There's not much that really gets talked about in that one.
I mean, it's Toxic Protect. What do you want us to say?
Pretty much.
It was a beautiful stall. It's the type of stall that you can't get mad about.
Yep. You actually can't, because it's like, just run heal bell, bro.
Yeah.
Do you guys want to talk about
Okay, so yeah, so we have two
VR
things.
update?
We have two things. Very quickly, before we get to the VR update, the thing we always do, exhibition week 6 is out. So we have some matchups. We have okay. So first, fossils versus snackers. We got ham versus.
Let's see ham to the 4th.
No, I say I actually say ham x4. Ham versus not Lycanroc versus Lycans, and Evagero versus Shane Ghoul. I think both of these are actually going to be pretty exciting. Lycans has been slowly getting past better teams and performing better and better, and Evagero and Shane Ghoul are both like good players that are like just hovering around that like top 10 could really break out. Kind of not PU mains, but mains in other metas, but like are good and could do things. I don't know. Don't really feel like I have to explain that much.
Yeah, I think Evie is resident RU main and Shane is resident NU main.
Yeah,
that's how we can resident other lower tiers main matchup. TCR versus TJ might be a low-key fire matchup though, because TCR has been playing PU quite a lot as of recent, and then TJ has been using more and more TJ style teams. Like he's been using the same type of stuff, so it's going to be interesting to see how.
In some instances, it felt like in TJ's case, it felt like he used like the same 3 mons and then switched up the other 3 mons for like different roles.
Yes,
like,
exactly.
That's pretty much how the builds just look. Like it looks very similar every week with some slight variations, but overall it's like kind of somewhat predictable in a sense. I don't want to like say his building is bad. It just seems like at times it's like, oh, okay, it's these 3 mons and then the other 3 to cover X, Y, Z, whatever.
Yep.
Sorry, by the way, I have some drama blowing up, so you guys can.
We'll take this over. I mean, that's what I would say. Like, the whole problem with TJ's teams is that it's like the same 3 mons, and the thing that I like about this matchup, which I don't think many people pick up upon, is that TCR is like other tier player. He's not really been like a PU born and raised type of guy. So he's going to think of the meta in like a little less S rank to D rank type of manner. You know what I mean? So he's going to have an interesting outlook on anything that happens. So it's going to be a weird one. I think this could be a potential banana skin if TJ doesn't
win this
maybe
week.
He doesn't switch it up, or he can.
I think at this point he should just to make himself a bit more unpredictable, if anything. Like I know we can build like other teams sort of similar to this, but not make it so obvious that we know what most of the sets are from preview.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure. It's that's a fun game, and then Serene Grace versus Tony Flygon. I don't really expect much from that game. I know Megazard vouches a lot for Tony, but I don't. And Serene Grace.
I think Tony has a lot of potential, and he hasn't really shown it yet. And maybe the Sam I Am game would have been a good place to show off, but that didn't happen. So it's like, Tony's not looking great. But Serene beat Ryza, but then that game never happened. So I don't know what to expect from Serene either.
Ascar versus Sam actually looks like very, very formidable in terms of from a building standpoint. It just looks very, very interesting. Just to see like what each side would bring.
Mm-hmm. I 100% agree with that one as well, because Sam versus Tasker is like dad versus. I said this in the PU Discord. Daddy versus son, basically.
Yeah.
So, like, they both bring the same styles of teams, and it's. I'm sure they tested each other a hell of a lot as well. So there's going to be some juicy mind games there.
Yeah, no, that's gonna be fun. And then, did you guys talk about Rexus versus Robert Alphonse? Because that is legitimately, like, I know there's other games that should be more highlight, but that's...
Yeah, we haven't talked about that.
Rexus versus Robert Alphonse is my highlight game. I think Rexus has been bringing, like, really cool teams. He wants to get into the tier. He's been working with Tasker more. And Robert Alphonse, obviously, just, like, one of them big good players, So it's gonna be a good thing to look at. I'm actually quite excited for this.
I wasn't that hyped for this matchup actually, but I think
'Cause you're
Robert
dumb.
Alphonse is yeah. I mean, well, yeah, it's.
I mean,
gonna be-
this is, in my opinion, just looking at it, it just looks like one of those more underrated matchups because you never know, like as you mentioned, like Rexus was like taking up the tier and whatnot, and Robert Alphonse is already like a proven PU player and playing other tiers and whatnot. So it's sort of like the veteran versus the newbie in some instances, and Rexus has been holding his own for the most part so far. So I'm very, very looking forward to that matchup as well.
100%. Yeah. So, what are the other games? Lord ST versus Ima. That's a weird game because Ima brought a decent team last time. And LST is coming off of the loss from using Stall. I don't know if LST is gonna want to build his own shit or take more stuff from me or Megazon in this case. I wouldn't. Why would you take stuff from me? You know what I mean? So
I feel LST is more than capable of building his own teams and whatnot. Like unless he's like really, really strapped for time, which I doubt it. But
yeah,
I think in this case he'll be fine.
Yeah, you should be fine. It's LST, right? He's all right. He's a good player. I hope.
Why are you doubting your own person?
Exactly. Why am I doubting my own player? I trusted LST. I trusted him. He is a good player and a fantastic person. There we go.
The last thing the manager should do should doubt the player.
I turned away for a second. Apparently, you're doubting LST. That's crazy. Besides, if you doubt anyone, Kushlos has to face Passion, the #1 player on all of Smogon. Like that's like hello. I know Kushlos is amazing, but Passion's just such a good player. Like how are you even match? Like no contest. Passion obviously the clear favorite to win this. Just fuck man. Like
honestly, Passion isn't even that bad. Like
Passion is real good.
Yeah, Passion. If Passion, I would expect to bring some fire, but if Passion gets the right team, the right matchup, he could win this. He's a wild card player.
No, Passion is good. I'm not actually saying Passion is not bad. I'm just making fun of you guys. Come on, it's already. All right, let's move on to the VR update. So what do you guys think about Lilligant being an S rank? Surprise.
Deserve.
I kind of feel like it's kind of like on the fence, but I think at this point it's worth the S rank because of the amount of prep teams have to put in just so you don't get destroyed by it. Like the combination of having like alolaslash, Pom Pom, Skunk Tank, Scarfer faster than +1 Lilligant, like the amount of prep you have to put in just for one Pokemon just kind of made the case for it being S rank a little bit more, although I can see some discrepancies about why it shouldn't be. But I think at this point, like S rank should be fine at the very least, just because it's just a centralizing force in the meta, regardless of like, oh, it's lacking in coverage. Like if it's not running like Hidden Power Rock or it's a Hyper Beam, all that stuff, it's still something you have to prep for on a regular basis, and it just deems worthy of the S rank because of that notion.
Yeah, my thing with Lilligant is that when you prep for it, you don't want to be weak to any of its sets. So the main two sets that you'll see in tour play at the very least is like the Quiver Sleep Dance with the 2 coverage moves, and the 2 coverage moves are either Giga Drain, Hyper Beam, or HP Fire. And there are loads of checks in quotation marks for Giga plus Hyper Beam and Giga plus HP Fire. So like those two, if you can probably slap those two on a team. The real problem with Lilligant comes when it's running 3 attacks. So when it's running all 3, Giga, Hyper Beam, and HP Fire. There are no checks to that. The only checks to that exist are like Type Null, the Kamala, and I'm really struggling for like another one. Like the way you check that one is to get momentum on it and then try and revenge kill with Primate or another Scarfer that's fast.
You mean revenge kill with Primate and pray you don't miss Gunshot.
Yup, basically. That's basically how it is. So that's an interesting like thing because Lilligant is just so good, man. It It is really good. Overall, I will say deserving of S rank.
Yeah, very much.
Just out of that.
Yeah, no, I mean, you guys basically, I'm still dealing with this ridiculous blow up, sorry. But yeah, no, I agree. Lilligant is just the mon that you have to prep for at the moment, and I think it's notable enough. Plus, S rank is not that strong at the moment. Skunk and Mesprit are like not that crazy high over everything else, and I think that puts Lilligant up there with them. That helps put Lilligant up there with them because they're not like that ridiculously ahead of everything. If our S ranks were like Archeops level or whatever, Lilligant would be more questionable. Let's see other things that might be noteworthy to react to. We got Sandslash up, Golurk stays, Wrath stays, don't rank, don't drop, don't bump.
I was actually on the verge of like making like Golurk rise, but when I saw it was already like at a pretty decent rank, I was like, nah, let's leave it at me. Because it's more so the fact that like as I talked about a little bit during that one post I made in the MP thread about like choice banded Golurk because of Weezing leaving, like no one really paid much attention to like when we lost Weezing, but Golurk was one of those things where it was the only thing that was resistant or was immune to Earthquake that didn't care about coverage. And since we lost that,
yeah, no, Golurk's good and it's been numbed down like 5 times. Yeah, no, it's
yeah, it just feels like Bandit feels a little bit more prominent now as opposed to like in the past. And I know that like somebody made a set for like a case for like regular Kanto Golem rising for the same reason as well, because it was like. Like Fire Punch, like a bandit set similar to Golurk with like Fire Punch or something like along those lines. Like I don't know, it's kind of like it kind of feels weird with that speed tier.
No, I agree.
It's also one of the reasons why like I like Golurk over like potentially like Bandit Mudsdale, which is like a set that's not even seen anymore because of rocks being more prominent. Just because of having that added speed and the secondary typing to like blowback stuff like Jellicent, Mesprit with Iron Fist, Bandit, Shadow Punch just seems like a very, very solid option for like bulkier or like teams that need a breaker and like a normal check in some retrospect.
Yeah, people need to stop nomming Golurk down. It's happened many, many times, and it's not. It keeps not happening because Golurk fully deserves B rank. Okay, so more. Okay, so we bumped Regice a little bit. That's not super interesting. Simipour got ranked. This kind of like Simipour didn't really see much Tor usage, but it's kind of just been running around being fine for a while. Like, it's not really amazing. I wouldn't have cared if we didn't rank it. It's incredibly mediocre, but it just works enough. And Floatzel kind of struggles, but Simipour at least gets Grass Knot for Jellicent and whatever, which definitely helps out a little bit, you know what I mean? So I got.
Yeah. On top of that, you get Nasty Plot, and you also get a Gluttony Berry if you want it. So that's another reason to use I mean, it helps when it's come to like revenge killing it, you know, because Floatzel it gets checked by mostly the same stuff, except Simipour has like majority of the time it has 150 health compared to Floatzel, which is stuck at a measly 100. Imagine having 100% health.
And Nasty Plot too.
Yeah, like, and Nasty Plot also helps.
It has a good enough speed tier where you're not like having to press where someone like Shell Smash Omastar where you have to boost your speed before you can do anything wall breaking purpose wise, but Simipour is already faster, like Oricorio, very faster than unboosted Lilligant, so you pressure with Ice Beam, stuff like that. So I can understand the point.
Yeah, we ranked Boof, which we already went over. Quagsire rose up to A rank. Don't think we really need to cover that. Quagsire's just like been getting better on
You know what a set people need to bring back is?
The Bandit set?
No, people need to bring back Acropool. That was the shit in Black-White.
Oh yeah, Acropool, but that doesn't hit anything anymore.
It hits the little.
So what?
No. All right, that's HJAD's gimmick corner for the week. Acropool. What else? We bumped Primeape up, but like, duh. Togedemaru going out.
Acro hits Hitmonchan harder.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, yes. There you go.
All right,
There you
Acropore.
go.
Of course, you gotta lose your item. You're probably getting weakened doing that. So by that point, it's gonna Mach Punch you, but that's okay. Primate went up. Victory Bell went up. Carbink went up. None of those really surprising. Alolan Persian went up. We finally dropped Scyther. We finally dropped Spiritomb. We bumped Semi-Sear up a little bit. Yeah, nothing really surprising. So that's about it for the VR update, I'd say.
Yep.
So yeah, it's been an hour. It's actually we actually just hit the hour mark on this. Although once I cut it down, maybe like 59 minutes or something.
Write in the comments section if you have been here for the full hour.
Yeah.
And I will personally give you a Timpole, a Timpole in the Discord. If you,
He's not lying. He will. If you do it, HJAD will.
All HJAD, not us.
All right. So yeah, we hit Exhibition the last week. We hit Exhibition predictions. We hit the VR update. We even hit HJAD's Gimmick Corner. So I think that's all we got.
Wait, I actually had a gimmick.
All right, fine.
Wait, there's more.
No, I was kidding. All right, what we got? We got gimmick from Mr. HJAD. What do you got for us?
So I have two gimmicks. One is mixed Pikachu with extreme speed Thunderbolt.
All right, and the other one?
And the other is
we're done. No Pikachu. We're done. I mean, we can move past that. What's the other one?
The other one is Timid Specs Electrode with Zap Cannon.
I mean, I guess if that hits, that'd actually be terrifying. You don't see, like, obviously matchup issues, but, like, those kind of electrics not super common, so.
Yeah, I also paid Zero such that the Zap Cannon always hits in tour games, and only important tour games as well. So it's not like seeded round one. It's not going to hit versus those guys. It's going to hit in seeded finals, for example.
I'm a bit curious about how much you paid in that regard.
Oh, I paid him a lot of money. I paid him a lot of pesos. He enjoys his currency in pesos. But yeah, other cool mod news. My actual gimmick is bulk up Ursaring, because it bulks up and then kills everything. So your classic normal resist being like Regirock, or in too much in this meta, I've seen it be like an Alolan Stand Slash. You can just outspeed and OHKO all of them with, the respective coverage move. I run, personally on my set, Bulk Up, Play Rough, Close Combat, Facade. Bulk Up because it makes you a bit harder to revenge kill. Facade is obviously your normal stab thing that does tons of damage.
I would have really liked that set a lot more if it had recovery. Like if it had Twin Punch, I would have loved that set.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. I would say what I trying to do with this team is that the team that I built it on actually had a parting shot Alolan Persian with the Z move, so you can parting shot it back up to full health. And I also had a Healing Wish Mesprit, but the Healing Wish Mesprit didn't make it onto the final four. But yeah, that's a fun way of enabling Ursaring, because all it really needs to do is just sort of shit on the normal resist, and then you have like some openings there. So
HJAD, you have a potty mouth, and also you blatantly stole a set from Oras, so I'm giving you a. So.
I swear someone posted that bulk of Ursaring on the created underrated thread.
I honestly don't even look at that thread because it's all bad gimmicks. My gimmicks are
they're not actually all terrible. Hey,
I posted Spec Shenanic on that thing. Are you gonna call that bad?
Yes, but they're still not all that bad. Okay, you're making it hard for me to defend that thread, but I'm still going to defend it. Let's see, what have we had recently? We've had Offensive Quiver Dance Blossom, fucking lol, Specs Shinotic, Throat Trop Quillfish, because everyone knows about that, that's not new. Offensive Gastrodon, we've had Z Thunder Mesprit, which is actually good. Icy Rock Aurorus, which, no shit. Z Aromatherapy Lilligant, that needs to be there. SD Victory Bell, OTR BEM. See, you wouldn't hate everything. Band Scyther, okay, you would hate that. Band Scyther with Reversal. Katut posting Fat Subtoxic Kangaskhan, which, yeah, that's good. It's getting on the analysis. It's not all terror. That's
a set that
it's some good shit right there.
Original, the me, Yogi, and you. We had like the 3 sets and whatever. You remember that?
Yeah.
Untier tour?
Yeah, that was
on that original paste bin.
No, yeah, I know, but like It deserved to get to 4. Oh wait, but I posted the original Pastebin Creative Underrated sets. He just reposted. Wow, we are calling Katut the fuck out. Katut, if you're listening to this, that means I definitely.
That's my set. Oscar beat me with that set way before Katut posted that.
That's my set. Someone else used it to beat me. That means it's my set.
Wait, no, but I told Tasker about that set, and I said, whenever you play Stall, use this, and you will always win. And he said, yeah, cool. I bring Stall in the seasonal game, and he just brings that set. I'm just like,
oh,
well,
that's cold. Never mind calling out Katut. Katut, I don't hate you anymore. Tasker, you're getting called out. Why did I make you co-tier leader? That is some heinous criminal activity. Oh my
because
god.
EU can't be a tier if there's another second co-tier leader that's European.
Oh yeah, that's true. We needed more Europeans in power. How many Europeans are on the count? What's the ratio of Europeans on council? Let me see. Akir, 2X, LST, and I are all American. Tasker, Ted, HJAD, all British. Okay, so we need a European council member.
Oh, don't worry. It's going to balance itself out. But when PUPL starts up and you're the only American manager, sorry.
We could promote Ivagiro. Ivagiro's Canadian. Otherwise, I can't think of any. I can't think of any Europeans right now. But
yeah, Canada is like Britain light.
No, it's French light. Or France light. Oh wait, Katut's European. Hey Katut, if you want to be on council, just PM me.
You just call him out like 5 minutes ago.
Yep, that's just what happened.
Again, the power of the tier leader. Ladies and gentlemen, on full display.
Jesus Christ, lads. What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
Redefining Qualitat. We said that at the beginning.
Yeah, we're gonna we are redefining the hell out of this Qualitat. All right. Before we go, don't want to forget, guys. You can check out Tone's channel. He's doing a bunch of PU content. I don't know if you started, but he's gonna be doing some series trying to show off Pokemon. He's doing some good stuff, and I think if you're into PU things, then it's absolutely worth a look, especially since like you're watching my content, so you can put up with pretty much anything, I think.
You're selling yourself too short.
Oh my god, there's a new trailer for a live-action Aladdin feat Will Smith as the genie? What the fuck? No, I swear I'm not making this up.
Okay, I'm looking that up after we're done here.
Here, let me take a screenshot of this. Alright, that's... Oh my...
You have got to be kidding me.
Oh my god. What the...
There's absolutely no way he's doing that.
That's a real... Holy shit.
I find that hard to believe. I find that extremely, extremely hard to believe.
Oh my... No, this is real. Oh my god. Alright.
Oh my god, you're right. This is... What is this?
What are you guys doing?
Look at Discord. Look at our PM. Look at that.
Will Smith is playing the genie from Aladdin.
He's shirtless and blue.
The guy from Avatar. What the hell?
He looks like a modified version of Thanos with different color.
Oh my god, that's all right. Oh, okay. Thank you guys for tuning into Untier Talk. We'll be back next week with week 6 of Exhibition and whatever else life happens to bring. Mysterious and rare exotic fruits like Will Smith Blue with shirtless. Oh my god.
He's the 4th member of the Blue Man Group.
Please check out Tone's channel. Comment for HJAD, give you the Tim poll. And yeah, I'll see you next week.